I am re-recording this episode that I initially recorded last night, and the audio was really scratchy for some reason. I'm not sure why. I was outside sitting looking at the full moon and musing about how it's in Pisces, and I don't really know a lot about this, but in my chart the fortune is in Pisces, and I only did a very quick Google search on what that is, and it said something about how the fortune in Pisces is somehow related to you'll find wealth and spirituality. And that struck me because is that not true for all of us? As we go within, is that not the place where all the riches are found? Is that not the place where the gold resides that we seek, the wealth we seek? I say gold because I'm thinking of the Philosopher's Stone, who can that can turn anything into gold. And the reason that's important to contemplate is I think it's each of our roles to look around you and see what to improve. And you put your touch on that, whatever it is. And as you're bringing your imagining into being, as you create whatever it is into wealth, into value, into something that improves the lives of others and yourself, we each can do that. We each choose what to do that with. We each have different perspectives, different eyes, different, maybe not different values, but we are each able to see differently what value can be brought out of something. And perhaps it's something that needs to be reimagined because it's tainted, or I think of something needing to be recycled. And by recycled, I mean breaking down the parts, looking at the parts. Maybe there's something that you want to reimagine, and you actually don't want to reimagine it. You just want it to go away. Instead of dismissing whatever it is, maybe you're even disgusted by it. But just practice thinking about breaking down the parts of that thing and looking at the parts and see how it can be recombined to be different, to fix whatever it is that went wrong. I think about how nature does that, not about what goes wrong, but when there's decomposition in food, for example, you give it back to the earth and it becomes compost. So what I'm talking about, it's related to something that we have made, we as humans have made, and perhaps there are bugs that need to be fixed, things that need to be changed, adjusted, shifted. Sometimes the whole thing needs to be broken down into its elements and the parts are used elsewhere. It's very important to look at the purpose of something existing and then evaluate the functionality of that. Does it fulfill its function? And then add in the beauty. Does it make things better? Is it beautiful in that way? Is it beautiful in the way it can support itself and things around it? And maybe it's something that is not measurable, because beauty has immeasurable value. Think of nature itself. but also the amazing architecture, the places religions built to worship within have been made so beautiful that it sparks that response in the worshipers. And nature does this in beautiful landscapes already. Beautiful landscapes you want to walk through, vacation in, that type of beauty. The beauty that you receive when you're with the people who you value your time with, that type of beauty. And while I can talk about people and places that might conjure up imagining experiences you'll have and those beautiful feelings within you, yes, it's that type of beauty. And also the practical things, not that that's not practical, but the things that improve our daily lives, everything that contributes to this experience, whatever has an opportunity to improve. And maybe you'll find a lot of things that can just be as they are. And that's an opportunity to be grateful for those things. But also expand your gratefulness towards things that you now see can be reimagined, because you can be grateful for the opportunity to do that. That can be your effect. That can be what helps you put the magic within yourself out and make something more interesting, work better, whatever it is. And that feeling you have when you put something really cool out there in the world and you feel you've had an impact, not just on products, but on people who use the products, or maybe your product is messages or a story. Be grateful and practice gratefulness for the experiences that got you here now. Even if you're like me and there are many opportunities to see things in a different light and to ruminate, I was doing that for a very long time, practicing differently now, and it is changing not only my experience now, but my perspective of the past, because looking through the lens of the lessons you were given helps you see yourself, perhaps as a student who is now a master in that area, and now you are able to give. And there will always be lessons, more lessons. But all of those lessons are opportunities to help you put your touch on whatever it is you want to help make better. I'm particularly drawn to the full moon, and it dawned on me that the moon is always full. It's just what we see changes. The cycles is not necessarily the moon itself, it is everything else around the moon. And so it is with the space within you. The space within you never changes. It is always glowing, and it is experiences, circumstances, all the things around us that changes how we experience that part of us, perhaps. And even if you don't feel like you've been in touch with that inner space that day, even if you're feeling like you need an adjustment, that space within you is always there. And when I say it never changes, I don't necessarily want to use those terms, but I just want you to know what I mean about it being always there. Always there. It never dims. Just your perception of it or your awareness of it. Because when you shift your awareness within, and as you practice getting in touch with that part of you, no matter what your perception is in the moment, you can intellectually know that it is always within you, that it is never dimmed. sometimes it's easier to wrap our mind around things intellectually than it is experientially, because the experience that we have always changes. Everything changes, but that within you is always there. Always. I do wish I had more elaborate verbiage to put around that, but perhaps it's for other people to deliver in their own way. And it is going to be, it's going to resonate in different ways for everyone depending on their own inner experience. Maybe I prefer this space where you're not sure what terms to use or necessarily how to say it. Perhaps I'll grow into that, or just keep pushing. Who knows? That's not important right now. As long as you understand my meaning. And whether or not you are looking at the moon, whether or not it is full, whatever cycle you have in your life. And if you're not particularly connected to the moon, perhaps you are more connected to the bright sun, who is also always glowing. It is everything else that shifts around. That is the beautiful thing about this experience. There is something that everything else shifts around, and that thing watches, experiences, breathes, lives within you. And you and your tangible body can start in whatever little or big ways to put your touch on, to get in touch with your internal space, and then put your touch on your external space. I'm wishing you a beautiful day or a beautiful evening, wherever you are, whenever you are listening. Be as you are. Be as you are.